We are live. It is the Colleen Hall and Roundtable discussion. I am coming to you from Dimension X. I've got Al Rainey in the place, and Brother Randall Xavier is in the building as well. I am reporting from the headquarters of the Night Nurse. All right, fellas, how's everybody doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. How about y'all?
I'm still breathing, so I guess that's a plus. It is a plus. Ain't no guess in it. Yes.
All right, and not sure what TC's up to. I actually text TC, so I'm not sure if he's going to join us tonight or not. So, ain't heard anything. Weldon is back in parts unknown. Reggie has still not accepted the challenge, and Larry will hopefully be joining us tonight once he gets off for the work. If not, we are still here, and we're going to make it happen. So let's go ahead and get ready to dive into things. We'll just go ahead and go right to the meat of today's news. Big bombshell dropped about probably around noon this afternoon. Cavill is out. Cavill, however y'all want to pronounce it, is out apparently as Superman. But then about 2, 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, a tweet was made by his manager that nothing had changed and that Warner Brothers would make a announcement. During the midst of all this, Ben Affleck decided he is out. Can somebody tell me what the hell is going on over at DC? Al, this is all you, my friend. We'll let you have it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate your viewership, whoever is out there in internet land. I really don't know what to make of it, to be honest with you, Matt. I mean, you wake up to that kind of news that Cavill is out, and it's like, wow, what is going on? And according to various sources, comicbook.com reported via the Hollywood Reporter that it was in reference to a cameo appearance in Shazam, which I'm like TC, he mentioned in the group. That's kind of strange for a person to just, throw his hands up and say, I'm done, in reference to a cameo. I mean, a cameo, what, 15, 20 minutes is that in a movie? I mean, it wasn't going to be anything, super major. At this point in time, I can't really say. All I know is that if it is true, because as you mentioned, his manager, Danny Garcia, which, by the way, I did a little research and found out that that's actually The Rock, the wrestler, his ex-wife. So The Rock's ex-wife is Cavill's manager. But anyway, I just got kind of sidetracked just then. I don't know. I mean, maybe tomorrow. I mean, right now, as it stands, it looks like other news sources are overriding what his manager is stating or has stated in reference to him leaving the DC EU. So right now, we won't know until we get some type of clarification either from Cavill himself or from Warner Brothers, that message or that announcement that Danny Garcia mentioned in her tweet. To my knowledge, it did not come to pass this evening. So as it stands right now, we just have to take it with a grain of salt and assume that he is no longer involved with the DC universe as far as the cinematic universe is concerned. Me personally, if it's true, it is a blow to the DC cinematic universe because although I don't like Superman, I never really liked Superman. I think Cavill was a good choice, and he plays the role pretty well. And I think by them losing him, that kind of takes a lot of wind out of their sails because they pretty much at that point or this point will have to, of course, cast for new Superman and then try to figure out how they're going to bring that individual in the fold. Now, it was also mentioned that they were going to go forward with Supergirl movie. Now, I'm thinking if they go that route and Cavill is actually out, I would think that one thing that I would do if I was one of the powers that be at Warner Brothers, I would go ahead and attempt to recast Superman as soon as possible, and then if time permits, do some reshoots or do some shoots, go do some editing or whatever, do some additional shoots to Shazam. Whoever you cast as Superman, go ahead and bring him in, put him in at a cameo in Shazam. You've already established that there's a new Superman in town. And then from there, if they do plan on doing a Supergirl movie with Superman in it, introduce that individual as the new Superman for the DC cinematic universe. To me, that makes more sense than waiting 3-4 years to do another Superman movie, because Superman has been played. I mean, Superman got like 10,000 movies, but each movie come out like every 5 years. And, you know, that's kind of not cool. But at the end of the day, if it's true, I think it's going to really hurt DC, Warner Brothers, and I'm hoping that Cavill or Warner Brothers can clear the air. I would hate to see him go, because I do want to see them succeed in their movies. But, you know, if he's gone, then hasta la vista, baby.
Well, Xavier, your thoughts on Cavill movie?
I mean, it bums me, you know. I mean, I'm baffled. I really enjoy him as Superman, and the few times we had him as Clark Kent. I really enjoyed Man of Steel. To me, I mean, I'm probably in the minority with this one, but I liked Man of Steel better than any other Superman movie because of two things. It made him more of a more it showed him more so from Earth than anything else. You know what I mean? He had troubles trying to hone in his craft and his powers and whatnot, but once he finally got a hold of it, he embraced it. Two, we actually got to see Superman fighting while he was flying instead of punch, jump, punch, jump, punch, jump. I I mean, I'm hurt to see that DC is already in a bad state as far as their movies as a whole, with the exception of Wonder Woman and hopefully Aquaman. But the thing is, with if it is true and it stands that he backs out and whatever Ben Affleck decides to do, even though I want him to stay as Batman, it can hurt Shazam and everything else that comes after those movies. Because right now they're trying to fix what they had, and if you let them go, there's nothing that you can do to salvage this unless you start all the way over. You know, and if you start all the way over, you just pretty much shattered on Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, and I can't remember the dude name they're playing Shazam. And then we ain't even got on how they gonna mess up Ezra Miller as the Flash. So and it hurts me as a huge DC fan. You know, I don't like it. I hate it. Fix what you got. Make your actors happy so that they can come out there and give you their best and their all in these movies to bring it back to what it was supposed to be. That kind of opened the doors for every other action, I mean, not action, but comic book movie that's out there. You know what I'm saying? But we just gotta wait and see how it pans out.
Well, what about Ben Affleck? What's your thoughts on Ben Affleck? You
I
know,
I don't want to see him go. I really enjoy him as Batman, and I enjoy him as Batman and Bruce Wayne. With all the previous actors, you either enjoyed them as Batman or you enjoyed them as Bruce Wayne, not as both. You know, I don't want to see him go, but I mean, if they part ways, they part ways. It's not going to be the first time that we seen somebody else play Batman. I'm sure it's definitely not going to be the last time that us and the people that are viewing our show tonight watch somebody play Batman. So I don't like it, but it is what it is. Let's get the stuff going and give us a good quality Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all of the DC universe, so we can get a Trinity movie that comes out later on, and all of us will be happy.
Al, your thoughts on Ben Affleck?
Well, I mean, I'm indifferent to Ben Affleck. I will say this, with a couple of issues with Justice League. I mean, y'all already know, it's widely known that I didn't really care about his performance in Batman versus Superman. I mean, to a degree, in my opinion, Superman Martha thing, but that's another story in and of itself. But I mean, for him, and again, we have to take this with a grain of salt because, his, his manager, whatnot, and looking at the chat, the Great Legend Show, good to see you on board, sir. Indicated that his manager wanted to get him some more money. That could have been the case, and it may. Well, I think with Affleck, it was a bit different. I think he kind of just got disenchanted with the whole situation regarding, being on board. But I don't know, man. I mean, if Cavill and Affleck is gone, man, that's kind of like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. telling Marvel Cinematic Studios, like when Iron Man 2 and Captain America, the Winter Soldier dropped, like after this movie, we out. Like, I mean, the scrambling that it will take. And like X said, I mean, you've got a lot of reworking to do. I mean, I would hope that they wouldn't need to start over from the ground up, but dang, man, I mean, those are two heavy hitters. This ain't like Booster Gold and the Blue Demon, somebody that done cast them. I mean, you're talking about two of the Trinity. So I don't know, man. We just have to see. I mean, right now it appears that DC is in a really tough pickle, and hopefully they could come out of it, man. Because even though I'm a Marvel guy, like we talked earlier, I want to see competition. And we bring up that whole conversation about WCW after they died and how the WWE's product dropped. I mean, that's with anything. Competition is good. Even though Marvel is a little further ahead of the game than DC, you don't want to see them, get beat up like they getting beat up. And right now they getting beat the F up, man. For real.
Yeah, I think DC right now, man, this could work two ways. Either this could be a massive flop, or it could actually spark change. I mean, me and Xavier talked about this earlier when we was at our comic book store. I just feel like they need a little freshening up, but I just don't want to see anything that's this drastic. I'd rather see it on the writing side as opposed to on the acting side. But who knows? I mean, maybe they can bring in somebody here, could do something, maybe add something extra, something extra to it. Xavier, go ahead.
It's you said something, but I slightly disagree with it. I don't necessarily think it's on the writing aspect of it. I think it is on Warner Brothers keep butting into it. Let these people that you hired to write these movies, produce these movies, direct these movies, and everything do their job, and let us as fans and the critics be the judge of it. Stop stepping in before the movie even hits the screen, doing all these extra edits that cause us not to enjoy the final product.
Wasn't it like that with the Justice League? Didn't they get involved? Yes. And it wasn't. Yeah, I remember some news coming out where they were saying something along the lines of some of the one specific person got called out about it, and that same person, he had beef not only with Justice League, but he also had beef with Batman versus Superman, which, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be off the mark, but I think he was the reason why a lot of stuff was cut out of that movie and they had to do reshoots. So if the powers that be are in a position to where they're interfering and meddling that way, my thing is this: you wouldn't take your car to a baker to get the car fixed, because a baker bakes and a repairman or a service technician, he works on vehicles. So if you work in the towers above the clouds in Dubai, and you got people on the ground that knows about the product and the material and how things work in reference to comic movies and comic books and stuff, let them do what they're supposed to do. And like you said, X, let us be the judge of that. I mean, too many times there's been situations where upper management or leadership in various companies have gotten involved in a process that they didn't need to get involved in, which caused a fracas. I mean, just to give you a quick analogy, y'all remember, I know some of our viewers may not be old enough to remember this, but Coca-Cola came out with a new formula some years ago called New Coke, and they really didn't do a lot of taste tests. They didn't do a lot of marketing. They just said, okay, we're gonna do this new Coke and we're gonna throw it out there, and people hated it. Like, well, what happened to the original formula? This tastes like garbage. It tastes like cough syrup and ginger snap cookies. So I mean, you put yourself in a position where you change something and you get involved with affairs that you know nothing of, then sometimes that can cause some issues and problems. But I mean, I really hope they could I hope they get out of this issue, because it ain't looking too good for them right now.
All right, so let's take a look over at the Marvel side. Last week we got a chance to see, and I don't know we talked. I think we talked about this on the last show. If y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but did we talk about Captain Marvel on the last show? We had, okay. But of course, the scroll. Everybody's the meme of memes, the boys to men meme for the scrolls has been floating around. Of course, it's on our Instagram page. If you hadn't seen that, we got a first look at the scrolls. Just recently, I think Captain Marvel is on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, if I'm not mistaken, and it looks like the Captain Marvel train is in full effect. So, guys, I guess we can hit this from all different angles. Al, a long time ago, we talked about this at lunch. You advised me to pick up an Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16 well before this was even thought about. So I guess, and I've actually got a book in my hall, actually, that I think would make a really good spec book. But I guess we can take it from this aspect. First, what did you think about what you saw? I know it's just on the caption of the scrolls. And also, what did you think about them, announcing Rambo? And as far as books, do you think it's too late to get Miss Marvel or any of the Captain Marvel books now? Because I think we're starting to get ready to hit that realm where if you hadn't got these books way back a while ago, you're probably gonna end up paying at least 30% more than what you would have paid 7 months ago. You got your Captain Marvel, your Miss Marvel #1 for what, like $40, right? Slab, something like that.
No, I got a raw copy, man, about a year and a half ago. I was still living in McDonald when I got mine. It was for maybe $18, $17, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So Al, I'll let you tackle it, my friend.
Well, I mean, everyone knows that are watching the show. Everyone knows if you are a comic book collector, true to the heart comic book collector, that anytime any type of piece of information comes out as it pertains to a new character that's going to be dropping, especially, not only did they show pictures of the scrolls, but they also showed stills of the movie. I can't remember Djimon Hounsou's his character in Guardians of the Galaxy, but they showed pictures of him along with some other cats from the Kree that was walking with Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers in one still. And of course, they had other stills of the scrolls. They had stills of Maria Rambeau, which is Monica Rambeau's daughter, because this movie is set in the 90s, of course. I think at this particular point, there are certain books that you may be able to get. The last time I went on eBay looking for Captain Marvel #1, which is the most recent one, I think came out like in the mid 2000s or the late 2000s. That book is probably hovering around anywhere from $15 to $40+ The further back you get, when it comes down to Miss Marvel #1, which is Carol Danvers' first solo book, and then Marvel Superheroes. Now, Marvel Superheroes 12 and 13, them books are out. I mean, they off the charts. If I'm not mistaken, Carol Danvers' first appearance in 13, I've seen raw copies. Of course, you can't really go by eBay, but normally that's kind of like the measuring stick. You have that book. I've seen it, last week, $200-300. Raw copies, $150, $120, $130. And we're talking about for a very good, like a mid-grade to like maybe from a 5 to a 7. I saw some slab ones, 8s, 9s for about $500. So if you can find like the Captain Marvel #1, that's probably your best bet. You may be able to find a decent low grade Miss Marvel right now. The Amazing Spider-Man 16, when I told you about it, you paid how much for that book?
I think I got what, Amazing, you said Amazing Spider-Man 16?
Yeah, that
$8.
yeah, I paid 12 for mine when I found it. So I mean, you showed me earlier today on eBay, that book's trending somewhere around $20-$30, and it's gonna continue to go up. And you have to keep this in mind. Monica Rambeau hadn't even been announced. That's her mom in the movie. So you can imagine, and like I was telling y'all, and this is what I want to relate to everybody that's watching. If you can get your hands on Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16, I have a feeling that particular book may be a book to invest in, and here's why. Right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the only women of color that you have is the Dora Milaje. Now, the Dora Milaje are, of course, a part of Black Panther's cadre. They just came along like in the mid-2000s. Monica Rambeau has been around since the 80s. And see, some of her, as far as her accomplishments, of course, if you're familiar with Avengers lore, at one point she was the leader of the Avengers. Not only that, that would be the first solo African-American superhero. If they actually bring her on the scene, she'd be the first African-American solo superhero, female superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So not only do you have a situation where there may be a first appearance of the character, most likely under the guise of Photon, but you're also looking at the fact that with all this diversity stuff going on, that book may also increase in value because she has a significant role as being the first female African-American superhero in the Marvel Universe. So, if you could find that one, I would say instead of going to eBay, local comic book stores, maybe some of the Facebook groups, you might be able to find a good copy for a decent price. So
I think you can find that book in flea markets, man. I think that's a classic flea market book because not too many people are looking for Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16. It's just a book that just was not on people's radar. It's kind of like Avengers 346. It's another book that was not on people's radar up until recently. But that's just the nature of the beast.
Right.
Xavier, your thoughts?
So I was excited about everything that we saw except for how the scroll looked to me. To me, they look like the Dark Elves from Thor 2. But I mean, everything that we're seeing is not final, so they may look better. When we saw Cyborg earlier before the movie came out, we didn't like him, and he actually looked good in the movie because he kept upgrading. So maybe by the time it's all done in post production and whatnot, I'll be more excited about that. But in reference to picking up the comics and whatnot, I agree with you, Matt. But I was gonna go a step further as far as like it being a flea market book. I think the ease of finding it would depend on your location and your local comic book store. Some people may not be as into collecting as we are in our little city, and it's a lot harder for us to find it because we only have one comic book store. You know what I'm saying? But in bigger cities, when you have multiple comic book shops, I think it'll be a lot easier to find them. May not be in the dollar bin, but I think it'll be a lot easier to get their hands on them, especially with how the internet is boosting a lot of these books and whatnot. But as far as the movie, I'm excited about it. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with it.
And I'll go ahead and just show this one right now out of my haul. This is a book that I think that may get some legs. And this is the pre-Scroll War, starring the Avengers, special edition #1. This is a book. I got this book on eBay. I think I paid about maybe $9 total for it. But this is a book I think may get some legs later on down the line. So, of course, I didn't do a video this past week on spec books, but I think this is one that may get a little legs down the line. I think that this train is going. I think this Miss Marvel train is going to be here to stay. This is going to be. I would almost say like almost a 5 6 year journey like Avengers. Avengers once it was full speed, I think they're gonna really put a lot of effort and work into the second phase. And like Al said, a lot of these off the wall characters that what I'm finding is that characters that you're not even thinking about. Like we just recently heard what was it, yesterday, Al, Captain Britain was announced. And Captain Britain is probably a what D list. We say D, C, C, D, not DC, but C, D.
Right now, I'm gonna say Elf because I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say Elf. Go ahead, finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say, these are like bottom of the barrel characters. I got another book in my hall too of a character that I think that people, and the book is starting to go up, and it's just. I think a lot of these off the wall characters that you do not expect are characters that are going to start taking off, and it's just part of that Marvel phase. I mean, we hadn't even got to Nova, we hadn't even touched Nova yet, and that's a book that still is within a lot of people's reach. I mean, you can still find that book in good grades, at reasonable prices. So if you don't take advantage, if you're collecting and you don't take advantage. Please get these books before they get announced, because once they get announced, that's it. This is why, for all of my Hulk 181 people out there, this is why Hulk 181 is going up in demand, because at some point, whether he's with X-Men or they bring him back in his own solo movie, Wolverine, once that hits, that's it. And that book is already expensive. That's like the Fantastic Four, I think it's 2, first appearance of the Skrulls. That book was already expensive, but it's astronomical now. I think I saw this past weekend a copy sold, a low grade sold for $1,800. So I mean, if you don't get these books when under the radar, then you're gonna be in trouble trying to get them once something is announced. Al, go ahead.
And I'm gonna say this to everyone, and I'm gonna pretty much put it to passion as far as my side. One thing that and Matt can tell you, and if you've been watching our show, that there's certain properties that I specifically have been, mentioning that there's going to be some traction. Matt has also mentioned some too, but I had mentioned some time ago, maybe even last year, that Excalibur, Captain Britain was going to be a property that Marvel was going to explore. And even though there are rumors right now in reference to Captain Britain becoming part of the Marvel Universe, the writing's on the wall. They've seen the success of Black Panther. They want to expand and branch out. And the thing of it is, when it comes down to Disney, what they're looking at global influence. When Black Panther came out, it was a hit in African countries. It was a hit in other areas of the world, which prompted that movie to be what is the top. It's the second top grossing Marvel movie of all time, right behind the Avengers. You're talking about Black Panther. So Disney is looking at that through Marvel Studios' eyes and saying, okay, so what else can we do to capitalize that? Captain Britain is one of those particular properties. And the way I see it is that when you're looking at a particular property, if Disney says or Marvel says, hey, we're going to do this particular property, the next thing you do is say, okay, so Captain Britain, who is he associated with? Of course, Psylocke is his sister. He's more known as being a member of the leader of Excalibur than anything. So you connect the dots. Excalibur. Okay, so who was in Excalibur? This person. Who are the Excalibur associated with? The X-Men. So you have to put yourself in a position to say, okay, well, there is a chance that Excalibur may show up at some point. And if they show up, especially since Disney has acquired Fox, there's a possibility at some point, shape, or fashion, you may see Excalibur, because the X-Men might get rolled in at some point. Alpha Flight is another one too. I'm done.
Yeah, Alpha Flight is I almost guarantee Alpha Flight's going to show up. In the way that those first appearances of Alpha Flight's going, it seems like the comic community is starting to realize that as well. Something I wanted to touch on here. I was pretty excited to see this yesterday. I can pull it up here. I don't have it right up on my phone here. Here we go. Swamp Thing is getting a hard R rating, and I think that's absolutely phenomenal. Uh, I think that's going to do that show a lot of justice because Swamp Thing is a really dark comic. Uh, Xavier, I know you're a big Injustice fan, and of course I know you. I know you know a little bit about Swamp Thing. What is your thoughts about DC saying, you know what, we're gonna give this a hard R and lean more towards the hard side of things?
I mean, I put like this. I read earlier in the comments somebody said that we need competition. When we were talking about the Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck leaving, and I think with Swamp Thing being a hard R, this can now rival the Marvel shows that are on Netflix. You know what I mean? That we can get that dark, gritty, comic book accurate depiction of these characters that we've been looking for so long, with no filters, no restraints or anything like that. It can give us a true dark universe as far as DC is concerned, and give us a true Constantine, give us comic accurate Zatanna, and even see Dead Man could pop up there. I want to see all that, and then also bringing in Etrigan. I'm excited for all of this, and I hope and pray that Warner Brothers doesn't put their hands in this and just let it go the way that it's supposed to go.
Al, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, my friend?
I mean, I'm with X. I mean, some comic books deserve an R rating because that's the material behind it. At the end of the day, every comic book movie is not going to be meant for a certain person. So you have to put yourself in a position to say, okay, so which is going to be most beneficial? I don't think Deadpool would have been as successful as it was if it was PG-13. That's just me personally. Because of the nature of the character in the comic book, even though he grew to be who he is right now, that's what people know. And, his movies have been successful. When there's word at one point that wasn't Justice League Dark, when it's supposed to get a movie, a motion picture?
Didn't they do a cartoon?
They did a cartoon, but it was reported at one point that they were going to actually do a Justice League movie, like a feature film.
It got scrapped.
It got scrapped. Okay.
It got scrapped.
So
but the thing is, it got scrapped because they were still in talks for the DC Universe, the streaming service. So the movie got scrapped, but it's possibly still going to be a part of the DC Universe show, and that could be a part of why they're giving Swamp Thing a hard R, so they can give us that in the future.
Interesting. All right. Speaking of dark and gritty, I'm not gonna go too far into it because I hadn't watched it, and I'm only on episode 5. I think Xavier's watched the whole season, but we'll go ahead and tell you, man, Iron Fist really is a massive improvement on last season. I used to refer to it as the Iron Flop, but I refer to it as the Iron Fist. I'm telling you, man, it's just that, as Xavier would say, the show could only go anywhere. You could only go up, considering how bad last season was. But this season, I got a chance to watch the first couple episodes last weekend, and I was really impressed. And I watched the episode 5 last night, and was really looking forward to watching more of this. They really got the Iron Fist right this time. They really got the villains right in this. Solid storyline. Action sequences are miles, night and day difference in the last season. And they got him. They finally stopped Danny Rand with all that crying and moaning and pissing. And now it's just pretty much down to business when he shows up. So I'm right now, if I had to rate the first 5 episodes, I'm probably gonna give it an 8.5. It has the same. I tell you what kind of tone it has. If I had to think about it, it has a Daredevil tone to it. The season 1 Daredevil tone. as far as like the grittiness and darkness of it. Xavier, you've seen the entire season. Of course, we're not going to get into the whole thing, considering that we got people who still hadn't seen it, what have you. But what if you had to rate the first few episodes? What would you rate it?
The first 5 episodes, I give it a strong 8.5. I'll give it like hands down 8.5. Um, I'm not gonna spoil the entire series, but I would give the overall series a strong 9. You know what I mean? And that's saying something coming from the Iron Flop that we all hated when they brought that out last year. I think the main one that was disappointing was Matt, but it is a breath of fresh air watching this. The story is amazing compared to season 1. Like Matt was saying, you don't have Danny Rand crying, you don't have him looking so gullible and naive. If you enjoy him in the Defenders, you're gonna enjoy him this season because you can see the growth of him as an actual human being in America again. You know, in modern day time. Colleen Wing, she is amazing. Davos is that dude, and Misty Knight, boy, boy. But yeah, if you all get a chance, check it out, man. I would tell you, you can binge watch it and enjoy it, or you can watch it one at a time and enjoy it. So definitely treat yourself to this season.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move over to the video game side of things, and announced on yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, either Tuesday. Samurai Showdown is going to be coming out soon. And as a huge fan of Samurai Showdown, I am thrilled. I mean, they had that tone for 5 because it was so pitiful.
Very pitiful.
You can't. I was like, there's no way they could not come out with another Samurai Showdown. You can't finish that, on that. I mean, it was absolute dog shit. Pardon my French, but that was a horrible, horrible game. But what I saw from the trailer looked really well. I was highly impressed. I was praying to God they didn't do a 3D style Samurai Showdown, and they kept it with the artsy drawn characters, and it looks really good. Al, I know you're a huge fan of Samurai Showdown as well. What did you think about? And what did you think about the upcoming re-release of a classic in the fighting game community?
Man, I thought it looked great. I watched the trailer like 10 times. It wasn't long enough. And I hate when they do those trailers like that because it's like, I'm tired of y'all doing this because y'all make me sick. But as far as it goes, man, it looked real good. It had a 2.5D feel. Certain aspects of it kind of look like Street Fighter 4. As far as the shading and the graphics are concerned. And truth be told, I knew that SNK was going to announce a game on Monday. And I was hoping for World Heroes or World Heroes Jet or World Heroes 2 Jet or a sequel to one of those with updated graphics because I was a fan of World Heroes 2, especially Jet. Huge fan of that game. But Samurai Showdown is actually it's cool. I don't have any problems with it. And I'm gonna tell y'all this: 2019, especially the first quarter of 2019, is shaping up to have a ton of games between January and April of next year. So, man, I can't do it, man. I don't only make so much money. I can't buy all these games. It's ridiculous, man. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, man. I mean, I might have to go buy some scratch offs and see if I can win a cash 5 or something. Just pay all these games off.
Well, you got that, and not only do you have Samurai Showdown, but you got a remake to Streets of Rage. That's coming. That's a game I hadn't seen since I was at least 14.
Ooh.
So I mean, you got that coming. Let me see here. I got a list here. We got that. You got the Tekken 7 DLC.
Well, that dropped last Friday, and I got that. They gave you Anna Williams and Lei Wulong. That's the one that's supposed to have Negan as a DLC character. So yeah, that dropped Friday.
And last but not least, we had a massive game drop last week. I still hadn't had a chance to play it. Xavier hadn't had a chance to play it. I know TC has played it. I know Al has played it. And that is Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. Has outsold God of War.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, so I mean that's quite a feat. Your thoughts on Spider-Man 4, Al? Can we get your thoughts on that, my friend?
Let me say this. I had to take shades off, man. Okay, so God of War, greater than, fill in the blank. But Spider-Man is a great game. I mean, it is an excellent game. Spider-Man is a cross between and it gives a lot of comparisons to Batman, and I can see why. But I'm gonna say it's a cross between Batman, Grand Theft Auto, and that gummit. What's the other game? A Streets of Rage or Final Fight type game. You put all those games into one game. You give it the mechanics because I mentioned it to y'all in the group. When you go in, like for example, it actually has a lot of similarities to God of War, how you upgrade skills and how you upgrade fighting abilities and that type of thing. As a matter of fact, that screen, and when y'all get it, y'all see what I'm saying, it's almost identical to the stat screen on God of War. So I haven't gotten that far. A matter of fact, man, what I've done, because the game is so massive, you have main story plots, of course, that you achieve, and then you go throughout the city and you can stop like carjackings, you can stop robberies, you can stop people getting mugged, getting beat up, all this kind of stuff. And then it has little side games and stuff, and it's kind of like Batman in the sense, well, which one of the Batmans had the Riddler signs that you had to collect all of them throughout the city? Which one was that? It was Arkham Knights, I think. Well, yeah, all of them. Well, I just played Arkham Knights. That's the last one I played. But in any Batman game, we had to go throughout the city and get those. You know, you have backpacks in this game, and the various backpacks have certain items and stuff, and it actually boosts your XP, and it gives you like some money or something like that. I can't remember. Man, that game is good, man. I would suggest to whomever is watching that you haven't purchased the game, go ahead and get it. That's a day one purchase. That is a day one purchase. But you know, if you could wait till November for Black Friday, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be on sale for about $30-$40. But if you're like me, you can't be waiting and you want to get this thing right then so you can play it. So I give it, on a Comic Hall Roundtable discussion, 1 through 10, I give a 9.5.
That's a strong score.
Strong like bull. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's. Who do we have in this chat room tonight, fellas? Let's give a shout out to them. We got Stay Puff is in there. Miss Hustle is in there. Victor Jackson Creed. Who else we got in there?
Miss Hustle, she's in the building.
Miss Hustle's in the building. So you got Simplify Comic Guy. Thank you for your service, my friend. Gene Paul.
Larry Crocker's
in the place. We've got Evan. And we'll give a shout out to all of y'all. See you, bro, Crocker. We see you in there. And we're going to keep this train moving. Fellas, let's go ahead and get ready to do our hauls for the night before we do our top 10. We do our top 10 last night. I have a small little haul this week. So I'll go ahead and go first tonight. Shout out to Origin Story Comics, who had a Labor Day sale last week. Week before last. I think it's last.
It was the week before last.
Yeah, week before last. Half off comics, and got a couple of books there that I wanted to show. We've got the Wolverine #2. but this is the newsstand edition. Which newsstands, if you see those are ones that you relatively would like to get. Of course, I've showed you the Avengers earlier. Shout out to Larry Crocker because I know he's gonna laugh when he see I picked this up. But I picked this up because apparently this is an extremely underordered comic book. A couple of guys in a couple of forums I'm on said they've only seen one, seen two. My local comic store, Comics Plus, only had one, and that is Scooby Apocalypse. This is the zombie cover. So I went ahead and picked that up. This is 26, and normally when you get like that, it's usually low order. Cover of the week, man, goes to Red Hood and Outlaws, man. This book is really on fire right now. A lot of people are buying this. So from my understanding, this is sold out on Midtown. You can't even get this on Midtown. So that's usually a good sign.
They still got copies at Origin Store. They're holding me a copy. Shout out to Origin Store in McDonald.
All right. Speaking of Origin Store, I did manage to get this at a really good price. And this is a book that I think that may get some legs later on down the line. And that is Manifest Destiny #1, first print. I was glad to get that. And last but not least is a book that I was talking about earlier. Got this book for $5. And this is a character I think that may show up at some point, whether it be on a TV Netflix show or probably a sidebar character. But this is one of these characters that we talk about that are like DCFQ characters. And these are, this book, when I went and looked, I was surprised to see how much this book is rising. But this is a Machine Man, the Living Robot #1. Got this book for $5, man. You can find this book in buck bins if you look hard enough. Secondhand stores. Get that book if you can afford it. I wouldn't spend over $20. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't spend over 20 for it. But if you can get that between anywhere from $1 all the way up to about $10, go ahead and grab it, man.
Machine Man, I think used to have a toy line back in the day.
Maybe somebody can verify that in the chat. I can't remember that one. Al, you can go ahead and go, my friend.
I think I will. Okay. I've amassed quite a few things over the past few weeks. I didn't get a chance to get any of my pulls because they are up in another city that I don't live in. Shout out to Origin Story Comics once again in McDonough, Georgia. I went to... Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show some of the books that I picked up today, which are mostly older books, and then some of the books I got through the Labor Day sale at Origin Story a couple of weeks ago. I'll start off with the newest book that I got, which is Infinity Wars #3. And that is the only new book that I got this week so far. So I went ahead and picked up a few books. This is a book I was looking for, and it was only a 2-part series, and I got it. X-Men and Alpha Flight #2. Like I said, it was only a 2-issue series. I have #1. The next one is #1, the 4-issue series. I'm missing the other 3. The first X-Men versus Avengers. Excalibur 97. And then I got 4 issues of X-Men 2099. Yeah, I collected this back in the day. I'm not ashamed to say it. I thought it was decent, but it's 4 issues of this. So I'm working on getting a run for that. And then one of my favorites from Jim Lee back in the day, Image Wildcats #42. Micronauts #1. Micronauts #1. X-Men and the Micronauts. This is a 4-issue limited series. They did a lot of limited series back in the 80s. A lot of limited series. All right, and the last two things as far as comic books that I have or books that I got for the Labor Day sale. As everyone knows that watches on a regular basis, I have a goal to complete my full run of Uncanny X-Men from issue 1 through 544. I picked up two books while I was at um, Origin Story, and they were half off. So the back issues were half off. So I got these for a heck of a price. X-Men 47, Beast and Iceman, Ice Beam, Arctic Attack.
Yeah, that excuse my ignorance, but is that part of the first run of X-Men, or was that a separate book?
This is the first run of the X-Men. These
Okay.
books are all volume 1.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was wondering. You know, like I said, I don't collect a whole lot of early X-Men, so I wasn't quite sure.
Right. And this one here is one that I got, and for some reason this one's going up in value. This is X-Men 56, and if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, I think this is the first issue where John Byrne did the artwork. No, not John Byrne.
Steranko?
Not Steranko. Neil Adams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Neil Adams. I want to say this is one of the first books. I could be wrong, but I think it is X-Men 56. Now, this particular cover has actually been homaged a few times. They did it with X-Men, I want to say 107 with Dark Phoenix grabbing it, and then a couple of other comic books have actually done it too. So with those two books, that takes my number of books that I need to fill that whole run to 72. I got a few pops too. Just want to show these things are like crack, but I got these two today. My Hero Academia. For some reason, I got hooked on that anime. So I got Suyu, which is Froppy, and I got Deku. That's Wine and Joker, but he's actually warmed my heart. And then I got a few more during the Labor Day. Todoroki. I got Shota, which is by far one of the coolest characters on the anime, Shota Ozawa. Then I got some Dragon Ball stuff. I got Bulma. And I got Master Roshi with the cane. And that's it for me, sir.
All right. Brother Xavier?
I will show off my two pops first right quick. I also got Mr. Aizawa today.
The Transformers will now return.
And as everybody that follows on Instagram, they saw that I posted this. I got my Friday the 13th, the sack bag Jason mask.
Sack Jason.
And for my books, I went ahead and grabbed the ones that I got today and some of the other ones that I haven't shown since we on the show. So I went ahead and got Batman 436. I got Batman 442. Got Flash 54. Batman 54. And got Red Hood and the Outlaws 26. I love this one. Listen, I appreciate you handing me that one. I forgot all about it, man. And these are some of the books that I picked up from Origin when we were there. Punisher, the Origin of Microchip. First cover with Microchip, not the first appearance of him. Got the Web of Spider-Man #1. I'm still on the hunt for 32. And got X-Men #4.
That book is going up.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I got multiple copies of that one now. X-Men #6. I'm sorry, #5. Yeah, #6. I'm sorry, #6. I just had to get a better copy of it. You got X-Men #9, and I actually got a better copy of X-Men number 11 right here.
Word life.
Good old Jim Lee artwork.
Oh yeah, but that's my haul.
Awesome, awesome. So we had done a top 10 in quite a while, but I definitely want to do a top 10 tonight. And tonight's top 10 is sure to get a lot of people talking and fussing. Tonight, our top 10 is the top 10 fighting game characters, which is really impossible. It's really hard to come up with 10 fighting game characters. You almost need to do about 35.
Hold up, fighting game or video game characters, man? Fighting
Yeah,
game characters? Oh, I got that. Oh, God.
Fighting game characters.
Fighting game characters. Yeah. So, Xavier, you go first, my friend. We'll let you go first. Yes.
All right. It's only gonna be from a handful of games as far as my top 10. Um, at number 10, I actually have a tie between Kalik and Nightwing from Injustice One. Number 9, don't laugh at me, but Dante from Marvel's Capcom 3. Number 8 is King from Art of Fighting. Number 7 is Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighting. My number 6, I can't pronounce his name, Harang from Tekken. Warang, yes, him. There you go. That's my dude, even though I can't say his name. Number 5 is Maxi. Number
From Soul
4,
Calibur.
yeah,
Maxi with the nunchucks.
yeah.
Okay.
My number 4 is the Adamantium Wolverine from Marvel's Capcom 2. My number 3 is Every Ryu from Street Fighter. My number 2 is Red Hood from Injustice 2. And my number 1 is any variation of Kung Lao.
All right. All right. So I got a few ties on mine, but my top 10 starting out the gate is a tie between M. Bison and Ivy from Soul Calibur.
I knew Bison was going to be on your list.
Yeah. Fat Bison. Anybody who plays Street Fighter Alpha know what the hell Fat Bison is. You know who he is. Number 9 will be Rain from Mortal Kombat.
Which one?
If I had to say, I would probably go with
the one that looked just like Ermac.
Yeah, I go with Ultimate. Yeah, Ultimate.
No.
Lightning bolt. Pow! Let me see here. I got Captain Commando for number 8. Captain Commando. Captain Commando.
What did you say? Oh, no.
Oh, you got him. You got Storm from Marvel's Capcom 2. Number 6 is Fujin, Mortal Kombat.
Stealing my stuff, man.
Number 5 is Quan Chi. Number 4 is one of my favorite characters in the Neo Geo universe is Mai Shiranu. Number 3 is a tie between Ermac and Magneto.
I knew it.
Number 2 is Kung Lao. And number 1 was really hard for me, man. But Shao Kahn is a tie between Shao Kahn and Sagat.
I just knew Magneto was going to be your number 1.
No, I'm more. I mean, Magneto, is excellent on Marvel's Capcom 2, man.
I'm surprised Sentinel wasn't on there.
No, Sagat, man, Tiger.
I'm talking about it was
Genocide.
Was it Magneto, Storm, and Sentinel?
No, it was. I used to use Magneto, Storm, and Captain Commando.
Oh, that anti-air, man.
That's right. Get out that air. You know what you know? Get out that air. Al, your top 10, my friend.
Man, I actually got top 32, but this is no particular order. But I will tell you that my favorite. Okay, well, actually, it is in order. All right, I'm gonna give you my honorable mentions first. Honorable mentions would be Zangief, And I don't know, man. I thought this dude was crazy, but I liked him from Marvel's Capcom 2, Mingo. I like Domingo. No, I did for real. I like Domingo, and then from Street Fighter Alpha, I liked Adon.
Jaguar too.
Yeah, Jaguar too.
Please don't tell
Okay,
me Dan on your list.
yeah, Dan is on my list. I got characters on my list from games that weren't successful.
Well, I
But
thought you could say Gangrel.
if Gangrel was in a fighting game, he would be one of my favorites.
He was on the Royal Rumble on Dreamcast.
That don't count. That don't count. Been our blood on somebody. Gangrel, son. Special move where the room get
What, you don't know Mercy? He was on WrestleMania 2000.
That's a wrestling simulator. It's not a fighting game, sir.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference. Anyway, okay, so I'm going ahead with my top 10. Okay, so number 10 is James Joie from Soul Calibur. Number 9 is Ryu from Street Fighter. Number 8 is Captain Commando. Number 7 is Venom from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I almost put him on the list.
Man, I love Venom. Venom fight too. Yeah. Number 6 is BB Hood from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Number 5 is Kyo Kusanagi from King of Fighters. Number 4 is Fujin from Mortal Kombat. Number 3 is Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat 2 specifically. My number 2 is going to be John Talbane from Darkstalkers. And my number 1, and I used to crush people with him with so much ferocity and anger, it didn't make sense. And I'm surprised that y'all didn't have any characters from this game as well. King from Tekken.
You know, I wanted to put him on my list, man. I wanted to put him on there.
I had one.
Yeah,
Y'all had to reveal his name.
Paul Phoenix.
Man, Lei Wulong almost made it on my list.
Yeah, I was about to put my boy Brian Fury on there, but
The one-hit wonder, man. I'm talking about all it takes one hit in the round over.
the longest leg in fighting game history.
That's sweet, and then that's straight.
God.
But I played King so wonderfully. Ask MC next time y'all see him who was his inspiration. No, I'm saying, yeah, who was his bane to play King? He'll tell you it was me. I was crushing folks with King, but tell me nothing.
All we had to do was to keep you from grabbing us, but that was the trick though. Ooh. It was trying to keep you from grabbing us.
I get you in that rolling death cradle, it's a wrap. That's taking all your energy.
He was the beginning of the chain combo.
He was the beginning of the chain combo, and that's the reason why I liked him, because when he grabs it, he didn't let loose to you until either you dropped the combo or you broke out of it.
And I mean, I can see why he was your number one, because they went back and changed Zangief so hard after the success of King. Right, Zangief started doing the same exact stuff. Like King was that dude, man. Ooh, and don't let it be Armor King, boy. You add even more power to it. Nobody put Jack on the list.
Man, you better go somewhere with Jack.
What was his name?
You might well. I was about to say you might well gun from Tekken 3 on that shoot. That little dinosaur or Dr. Boskanovich.
I ain't even gonna lie. I almost put Eddie Gordo on my list, but I was one of the few people that actually knew how to fight with Eddie Gordo. I wasn't a button masher.
Nothing wrong with Eddie Gordo. I mean, if you got a good Eddie Gordo player on the scene, man, they'll be tough because it's hard to read. I mean, that Caballero style was really tough. I mean, you know how to block.
You know who I could not beat? I cannot remember the cat name, but he used Lei Wulong. And that drunken master, I couldn't do nothing with it.
Hey, man.
I couldn't do nothing with it. But I'm talking about, and he kept switching styles too. Dang, I wish I could remember who that cat was. I'm surprised y'all don't remember who it was. He used to be at timeout all the time.
No, I can't remember.
It was a white dude with glasses. Oh, dog.
What else you got there, Al?
I mean, that's it. I mean, Wolf from Virtual Fighter. I mean, but he was just like King. I mean, I like those
Man,
graphics.
I forgot about, you know what, man? I forgot about Wolf, and then I forgot about Virtual Fighters, man. I forgot about them.
Virtual Fighter was a good game, man, but you had to have a degree in calculus to really master the game.
Right. Yeah, by the time you get it, and then when you get to Duval, that's a whole nother machine.
Man, you talking about Doral?
Yeah,
You right. You was in the right place. But yeah, man, that Akira and Wolf and dang, I can't. The other ones I can't even think of. But yeah, that was a really technical game. You know, and I'm surprised I didn't even think of. Like, I used to be a fan of Glacius from Killer Instinct.
Yeah, it's just so many fighting game characters, man, to do that. So
I cannot remember his name. I literally wrote down Glacier and I scratched through it because I could not remember his name.
They don't put Glacier in there.
No, you best believe. Nope. Ain't gonna have me. Y'all ain't gonna be clowning me like Gangrel.
Clown me all you want to about Gangrel. I don't care. I won't put on a t-shirt. Gangrel is my boy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. With that, everybody, I want to tell everybody thank you for watching tonight. Abbreviated show, the Comment Hall and Roundtable discussion. My birthday is this weekend. I'm celebrating it.
Team Virgo.
Team Virgo is in the building. Brother Randall is a fellow Virgo. Brother Weldon is a Virgo as well. We got a Virgo committee. We're going to give you some love too, Al. Shout out to Sagittarius. / Capricorn.
I appreciate it. No, it's D9.
You're Capitarius.
It's Quintesson. That's what I am, a Quintesson.
All right, everybody. So we will be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to try to get everything lined up. We should be broadcasting from our local comic book store. Try to get that in order. So hopefully we'll see you then. And for everybody on the panel, for Al Rainey, for Xavier Randall, Antonio Coleman, who's not with us tonight, Larry Crocker, who's watching, we want to tell everybody, we want to wish you all a great night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also make sure you check out our Instagram page. All right? Much love. We'll catch you all on the rebound. Have a good night.